Greetings and salutations, everybody. My name is Ricky Lee 99, and you are welcome back to my channel. So, slightly different. I'm against the green screen, poke, and the reason for that is because we can't go outside. We're on lockdown, and heck, I've got a bottle of Uidal to finish. So, Salancha, let's begin. So what do I want to talk about today? Let's talk about Star Trek Picard, because I just finished that show and I have some thoughts. Right? Yeah. I mean, you can go look up the history somewhere else, but in a nutshell, it's been 20 years since we've seen these characters. There's a new show, Star Trek Picard, and we are watching the adventures of the aforementioned Captain Picard, who is now an admiral. Sort of a retired admiral. He quit Starfleet at some point over the years and became a vintner? Is that what you call those people who make wines? Yeah, whatever. Oh, and if you're wondering about the beard, or scraggly beard, since we're in lockdown, I'm doing something called Co-Beard 19, in which for every day that I work from home and I don't shave, I'm donating my lunch money to a local nonprofit that's dealing with the fallouts and the effects of COVID-19. So far to this date, I've raised $50. Technically, this was the first week of the lockdown, and I encourage you to do the same. You don't have to not shave, whatever. I've got one or two other people jumped in. They don't want to call it Co-Beard 19 because really they don't think it's a good hashtag, but I don't care. It's my hashtag. So that's what this is, Co-Beard 19. Do something useful with your lunch money. So back to Star Trek. It's the third time I've recorded this, so I have some thoughts from previous recordings that I'm going to use here. In a nutshell, Star Trek Picard was basically the Starfleet version of Logan, wherein the old hero goes on one more trip to save a young world saver, which in this case is, well, it starts out as Daj and then ends up as Soji, and then they have an evil older sister who is also played by the same actress, Isa Briones, who fascinating turns out to be one of the Peggies in Hamilton. So, hey, right there. She wasn't going to waste her shot. Oh. 46% alcohol. It's a little over 90 proof. Didn't let it breathe either, so excuse the I love this stuff. Just doesn't love me so much. It was great seeing Picard again. It was great seeing Riker, Troy, Seven of Nine, Hugh, seeing all our old friends again. It wasn't so great seeing Ichib again. It's nice seeing Ichib, but whoever wrote that episode, they saw a little too much. Saw the horror movie. Oh, speaking of being cut up and stuff, it's my best Starfleet Star Trek t-shirt. Oh, apparently red shirts aren't a thing anymore in the future because they don't seem, at least, I guess because we weren't actually in Starfleet. We're outside of Starfleet. We didn't see too many red shirts. But I digress. the show had its ups and downs. There were some plots that got started and then they didn't never finished. Other things were like just straight mechanical. If she was an android, how would how did certain biological functions happen? Because she's an android. Anyway, the show was good. The series was good. I think it had a great concept, but I feel like it could have been done in like 3 90-minute shows, compact. It felt like there were some episodes where it just felt like, why are we doing this? Are we just padding out, to get to the 10 episode mark that was paid for? Elnor was cool. Who knew Romulan ninjas were going to be a Romulan ninja monks? It's like someone just mixed up words in one of those put words into a bag, shook it around, and like pulled up Romulan ninja monk. Hey, we got a character. The android herself, Soji Daj, I forgot what the evil sister's name was. It's alright. Storyline wasn't great, but it's alright. Issa played that character very well. You could definitely tell which sister was what, but I don't know. It's a little Orphan Blackie, and I didn't really like Orphan Black, so sorry. Raffi and her relationship with Picard. I never felt Picard was the father type. He was close to, his crew, but he was never like that relationship they showed in the series where her life fell apart when he abandoned her. I never saw Picard doing that in the Next Generation, other than maybe Data, but then Data was able to Data could handle it right up until he jumped across the ship and died. It was good to see Data again, and it was nice to say goodbye to Data the way they did it, but I wish they had brought the rest of the family in to say goodbye to Data. Especially looking at the behind the scenes, seeing that Michael Dorn, Worf, and Geordie LeVar Burton were on set for the episode that Jonathan Frakes directed that also had Troy in it. So the family, except for Will and Beverly, was there on set. They could have just said, can we film one scene? And just called Brent in to sit and just say goodbye to everybody. Because we didn't get that goodbye in Nemesis. Yeah. That's my one wish that this season had done, was a proper... Yes, we had a goodbye between Data and Picard, and that one scene where Picard was sitting on the coffee table as Picard TNG was sitting on the table while Picard from Star Trek Picard was reading Shakespeare, shutting off Data as if he was HAL 9000, was touching as hell. But I don't know. It should have been with the family. It shouldn't have just been Picard doing it himself, taking Data off life support. And also, story-wise, Riker was right there. Riker saved the day at the end of the episode. He was right there. They should have... Yeah. And going back to the Logan thing, our Logan, Picard, well, Picard is both Logan and Professor X, but Logan actually died, right? And Picard died too. So sorry spoilers, but Picard died. And that was touching as hell, but It happened with the new cast members. With the exception of Soji, who I could understand started to think of Picard as a father figure, and maybe Raffi, because we were forced to go into this, we were forced with this Picard as her father-like thing. Okay, but the new captain, he only met Picard like, let's say 2 weeks ago in the show timeline. Agnes Girardi, same thing, within 2 weeks. Elnor, sure, he knew him as a kid, got abandoned by him. Sure, I could see him crying for Picard. But overall, it was... he died with the new family, not with the old family. There should have been more TNG in there, especially in the last moments. I don't know. Okay, so that's my complaints about the show. I don't want to be like those Star Trek guys, Star Wars guys who like, Rise of the Skywalker ruined it for me. No, this did not ruin it for me. I just wish those scenes happened. Now for the things I like seeing this other side of Starfleet. My favorite episodes of Next Generation was the corrupt Starfleet storylines, like the one where those worms went into the Starfleet people's heads. I forget the name of that episode. And I like how Starfleet was getting its ass kicked during the Dominion Wars. So I like that aspect where Starfleet wasn't completely clean. But on the flip side, holy crap, they went from the Starfleet we knew to like something. The Starfleet we knew to, whoa, what's going on? Why is everybody hating each other? What happened here? The Starfleet's falling apart. This ain't right. Went straight to that, and I don't know. Yes, there are web series and comics and all that stuff, but how many people read them? Okay, fine, no true fan, right? Who cares? You're no true fan. Whatever. Could you have put a little bit more of that backstory into it instead of spending 10 episodes with Girardi going, I'm evil, I'm not, I'm evil, I'm not, I don't care. Could we have a little more backstory instead of the, oh, so the new captain recognized Soji because they had met the androids before, and I don't care. We had a whole episode where Raffi was trying to reassemble the psyche of the actors were great, but from a Next Generation person point of view, I don't care. I don't care. If you tear apart their foundation, explain why you tore it apart. You know? We didn't get that and in the show. Those were the things that were kind of like a little bit off for me, but overall the show was good. It was good to see Patrick Stewart come back as Picard. You could tell through the entire show how much this man loved Picard. It was great to see Riker and Troy again, and seeing how their marriage went from, the loss of a child to protecting this child. It was great. It was great to see Picard get his butt saved by his first officer, Riker, who in that one tiny scene you could see how he went from number one, someone's underling, to so powerful in Starfleet. He's like, I need a fleet to save my captain. I don't care what you're going to say. That happened. Somehow that happened in Riker's history, and we never got exposed to it other than that tiny little scene on the Nepenthe. Yeah. Where like, oh yeah, we were in space and then our son died. We could have used more of that backstory instead of the backstory of Raffi and I forget the name of the new captain. And that's the other thing. I didn't care about the new captain. He was basically Han Solo, but discount Han Solo. I didn't care about him. What else? It was good to see Hugh. Although, rip Hugh, poor Hugh. Not really sure how I feel about the Romulan secret society. I I could. It should have been a new species, not the Romulans, because I don't. I don't know. It's like the society has always been there. Really? We haven't seen it in Next Generation or the original series. It just. We're just. Oh no, they were so secret. But, no, they were secret. Okay. But nobody talked about them before. We are now. Okay. It felt like that. it felt like they came out of nowhere. And I felt like they went a little too Game of Thrones-ish with the brother-sister thing. Their writers in future, the brother and sister relationship stuff, shit's icky. Fucking don't do them again. It wasn't fun in Game of Thrones. It wasn't fun now. Ugh, stop it. It's great to see Brent Spiner again. Those final scenes of him as Data. Damn, that's some fine acting. It's right up there in my sad list with Tennant saying, I don't want to go at the end of his tenure as the Doctor. And man, it's like no time passed since Nemesis to now. Brent Spiner was just, he was Data. It was like, I'm Data. Here's Captain. It was cute, by the way, seeing Issa Briones, which we found out later in the behind the scenes, had done a lot of her Data-esque, those head tilt things, with no instructions from Brent. She just kind of, well, he did it, so I should probably do it because I'm kind of like his daughter. So that was cute seeing that, but I don't know. That was the other thing. We were led through this entire show to like, this is the daughter of Data. This could be the daughter of Data. And when she got back to the planet where Data was in that simulation cube thing, there was no, I need to talk to my father. Data sitting inside the cube goes, so how's my kid? My kid's doing okay, yeah? Nope, none of that. So what the hell was the whole... This was the daughter of Data. It never happened. It was an inconsequential plot point at the end. Or... what was that? It's a MacGuffin? Yeah, I think it's called a MacGuffin. But, you know, don't let me dissuade you. We're all in lockdown right now. It's a great show. Just slow in some parts, really fast in other parts. Sad in some parts, really joyous to see the crew that you loved in other parts. It's a good show. It's just, it's got its problems. And I really liked it. I wish Will was back. I wish Q showed up at some point. It was great seeing 7 of 9, even though the 7 of 9 we see in this series is not the same 7 of 9 we saw at the end of Voyager. She's more like Gamora. But on the flip side, I can understand why she got angry, because it turns out there were people harvesting Borgs, ex-Borgs, and the only other the two ex-Borgs she was close with, Ichib and Hugh. Oh, they didn't go out very nicely. Yeah, poor them. Although, I really did like the 300 style kick at the end, where she goes, "This is for Hugh," and to Hugh's killer. That was good. Yeah, I guess that's it. You know what? Go watch the show. If you like Next Generation, go watch the show. Do yourself a favor, go watch the show. If you're a fan of good acting, because by far this is some of the best acting I've seen on a TV series in a long while, definitely watch it. I mean, Sir Patrick Stewart's acting was, as usual, top notch, and he played it it was good to see him as Picard again. It's great to see old friends like Riker, Troy, them back. Yep, it was great. I do wish, like I said earlier, that the family got to say goodbye to Data properly, not just Picard. And forgive the new family, the new crew. They're all right. I just, I don't know. They weren't bad, but just I could have done with less of them and more going back over history of what happened to the family that I knew. In terms of family reunions, it's like, okay, we got all the story of all the cousins, the new cousins, the ones who were like tiny babies the last time I saw everybody. But what happened to my cousin, your dad? Right? It's like, great, that's great and all. Great kid, you're a doctor. But what happened to your dad, my cousin? Anyway, as always, I'm RickyLee99. I highly encourage you to do the Cobeard stuff. And you know what? Like everyone says, stay the F home. Stop going out. Let's flatten that curve. And as always, I don't have an outro.